If you're looking to buy a home in Ocean City, New Jersey, you're probably wondering where the best values are. It's one of the questions I get most often. So in today's video, I'm going to bring back an old segment I used to call Best Buys in Ocean City. I'm going to walk you through what I believe are the best values in the market right now. Now, before we dive in, I just want to take you through a little bit of context here and how we're going to do this. It's going to be different than if you are a follower from before when I did this a couple of years ago. Used to have a spreadsheet, links, the whole nine. I'm going to keep this clean and simple. The addresses are right here. If there's anything that does catch your eye, you could do one of two things. You can either pause and go Google the address and see what you could find on the property itself, or just reach out to me any of the ways you see down in the description. I'm happy to answer any questions whatsoever. No pressure, no obligation. If we've talked before, you know that's the deal. So let's dive right in. With the first property, we are going to talk about, and we're going to go from least expensive to most expensive. 836 2nd Street. Now, this is a triplex. There are 3 units for sale in this building. All 3 of them have been remodeled, and all of them do have strong rental history. So if you're looking to walk in or step in to an existing book of business on a property where you could either truly choose to use as an investment property only, or take some weeks for yourself, which is the norm here in Ocean City. These are great options. Now, this one is the most affordable of all. It's a 2-bedroom, whereas the other ones are 3 beds, 1 bath apiece. This one I like. One of the main reasons, not only is it the top floor, so you don't have anybody overhead, but the laundry is actually in the unit. The other 2 units, the laundry is out back, I should say, of the units. So these are great properties. They're very affordable considering the normal prices of everything else we see on the market. These 3 are all decent to good values, in my opinion. So that is number 1. Now, number 2, again, there are multiple units in this property here at 715 East 8th Street. I believe there are currently 4 for sale. 2 of them at $595,000, and then 2 of them just above $650, if I'm not mistaken. This is a totally renovated building. This is where the Ocean City Surf Cafe was on the ground level. That whole building has been remodeled, and the pictures do look good. So I'll take you briefly through a couple of these. I know I didn't do it on the last one, but bear with me. The kicker here is that this does come with parking spots. A lot of these redone older buildings don't necessarily have parking spots. So general layout of these buildings split down the middle with a unit on the left, the unit on the right. So you're sharing a wall with your neighbor. There is technically a deck out back. It's not the biggest outside space. That's the one issue that this may have in selling, but there is a big pro here. If you were a pool person, the seller is willing to draw up a contract to give you, your tenants, whomever, the right to use the pool across the street, which is rare. So that's something definitely to look into if you're looking for, again, something that would rent very well. This is just off the boardwalk, great location, ready to go. This is another good one. Now we're going to jump up closer to $1 million, and this is one I've talked about in the past. 104 Atlantic. So right now it is technically a 6-bed, 3-bath. One of those bedrooms is really more of an office. It's smaller, but there's the ability on this top floor up here. And I'll find some pictures of it here in a second. It's huge. You have the possibility, there's a bathroom up there, there's a kitchenette up there. This is a huge bedroom. That's about half the floor. The living space is massive. I believe that you could create multiple bedrooms up here if that was your desire. This at one point in time appears to have had its own entry, also sharing the back staircase, but still it could be reworked to become more or less 2 separate units if that's how you choose to use it. Rental potential here is great. 65,000+ is the estimate that I feel good about. And that's as is. If you were to go add some bedrooms, if you were to do some updating, a lot of the flooring in there is different. This is hands down one of the better buys. You're not going to find a 6-bedroom, this kind of space, this location right off Atlantic. It's phenomenal, with the one con being that there is no parking, no dedicated off-street parking. That could be solved, and I'm not going to go into the how on this video, but if you're curious about this property and how that could be solved, just give me a call or text. I'm happy to talk you through it. Next on the list, we have a very unique one. So most condo-tels, if you don't know what condo-tel is, there's some videos on the channel that you can check out, but short version is they're hotels that individual people own the rooms of. They're still managed by a management team, fully hands-off investment. Normally, they're among the more affordable properties in Ocean City. Impala Suites here was developed a few years ago, and it is the most expensive condo-tel on the island, but they have phenomenal rental history. This one grossed about just under $100,000 in 2023. And it's one of the few that also does allow pets. I checked the condo docs themselves. It's the only condo hotel I'm aware of that does allow pets. Most condo buildings don't allow pets for owners, but this one does. So this is unique. This gives you the possibility of being just off the boardwalk right on 10th Street. You do have a nice new pool deck there. This is a very unique situation where really there can be three separate individual bedrooms. They can be split however you choose, but very, very unique option here that if you were to do a cash purchase, you'd be looking at between a 5 and 6% overall rate of return. And that's pretty darn good. We haven't seen something like this very often recently. And I don't know how likely we are to see one like it again. So this is a very, very unique, solid opportunity. Now, this one is my own listing at 6 West A Street. So this one is the best waterfront buy on the market, bar none. The amount of space you have in here, over 1,700 square feet. You do have a boat slip. You do have a pier going out into the lagoon that is only for the first floor's use. There's a lot to like about this. Huge garage. I could go on for days, but it is an older building. There is some TLC that would be needed to bring this up to most buyers' tastes, which is the case with most places, right? You want to make it your own, put your own spin on it. So this is a very unique opportunity. And I actually met with a buyer here a few days ago who's down here for the first time looking at waterfront properties. And if you are a waterfront person, you will want to listen to this. If not, feel free to skip ahead a little bit, but you're either going to end up on a lagoon or on the open bay. And they're two very, very different concepts. And if anybody who is looking to be on the water wants to be able to bring a pet into the premises and does not have $3+ million for a single family home, you are either going to be in a condo complex on the open bay. There's a few that have those, or a duplex. There are very few duplexes, period. So affordability is a huge piece of the puzzle when you're getting on the bay, and there's just not a lot of ways to do it under $1 million. This is one of those very few ways. So that one is bar none. Again, the best buy to get on the waterfront. Now we're going to go to the north end. So this one's been on the market for a while, 132 days. I've shown this a couple times. I personally think it's a great buy. It's in a great location. It does have some rental history, but for a 4-bed, 3-bath for under 1.2, it's very, very solid. Now this does have a garage. It's on a narrower lot than you would expect for a 4-bedroom, traditionally a 40-foot wide lot. This is on 30. But if you were to take the time and go through some of these pictures, or even better yet, go through the property yourself, this doesn't really need a thing. The entire top floor is essentially the master suite. It has a nice full bathroom, has a deck off the front where you can see a peek of the ocean. So this is a very good one. I've had my eye on for a while. I'm a little bit surprised that it's still out there, especially considering my opinion. It's one what I'll call the better side of the street. If you're on these long blocks running east to west, if you are on the side where the front of your home is facing to the south, you're going to get the sun coming in, keeping things bright. If you are on the other side, I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to be dark, but it is not going to get as much natural light. And to me, that's a big deal. So great property at 811 Penland. We've got two more, and both of these are, I think, fairly comparable. So this one at 1004 Asbury. This is nearly new construction, just built in 2020. Top floor, 5 beds, 3 baths, very, very nice unit, does have a garage. And I think that this one is tough for some people because not everybody wants to be in downtown Asbury. Now, me, myself, I literally just moved to downtown Asbury back in November. And I absolutely love it here. And I'm not saying that as a sales pitch for this home. I wouldn't have moved myself and my family here if I didn't think it was a phenomenal location. You could walk to everything, whether that's the beach, whether that's the bay, right in downtown for all the parades, the events. Us personally, we can walk right to school. We can take our son to school, to the soccer field, to the Civic Center for basketball, Cub Scouts right at the church. It's everything is right here. So this property is phenomenal. It's ready to go. It is turnkey. A similar unit in the building right next door, just within the past year, sold for $1,550,000. This is priced at $1,250,000. And as far as if this were to be rented, I think you would be able to get roughly 7,000 per peak week, maybe a hair more. And that's very, very solid. So if you're looking for a newer construction, turnkey, ready to rock, you're not going to find a better 5-bedroom, period, that is down this part of town. And the reason why I say this part of town is there's only one other 5-bedroom that I think is similar, but it's in a very different location, down at 34th Street on Haven Avenue, right across from the Crossings, which is a condo complex. This is a great, great opportunity. If I were to zoom out on this little tiny baby map here, that is only 4 short blocks to the beach. You have everything you need on this 34th Street corridor to not have to drive anywhere, really. They're building a golf course, which they didn't have before. We have restaurants, we have CVS, we have Wawa, we have Acme, we have gas station, we have everything that you can need this corridor has. So this property is in a very unique situation. So the location itself is definitely very niche. There's not a lot of homes on this block, period, being just off the 34th Street corridor. And that's the reason why you're able to get such a value in price for the space, the condition, and everything that comes with this. So with that said, that is the 8 best buys currently on the market, in my opinion. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always drop them down in the comments, or once again, reach out to me. However you prefer, they're all listed down in the description as well. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and do me a favor if you haven't already. You don't want to miss another one. And I'm going to try to do these every few weeks. I can't guarantee the cadence, so make sure you hit subscribe so that you get a notification as soon as it drops. Thanks as always for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.